Harper, how you doing? So I asked the Harper's guardians what rules she had, and we have one distinct rule, which is better than a lot of my clients. But then I asked how often, and she, of course, I'm trying to entice her to do it. Harper, to do that. So I asked how often this happens, and Dad said a couple times a day. I'm guessing if it's happened to me a couple times already, it's probably more often than you guys recognize. So when she does that, she's basically asking me, she's doing it in a somewhat cute way. Well, now she's being a little bit pushy, but she's asking for attention. So if she gets to tell me what to do and I do it, then that validates that she has authority over me. And now you guys, I'm sitting with a family. Is it just 2 kids? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we have 2 kids. So mom and dad have authority over the kids because they take care of you, nurture, provide, and all that fun stuff. And as a result of that, they have authority to kind of tell you, hey, that's an inappropriate shirt for whatever we're gonna do. Now, if mom tells dad, I don't like the shirt you're wearing, it's stupid, go change it, dad decides because they're the same authority level. And so when you have the same authority as somebody, then listening to that person is optional. And so in this case, I'm guessing we only have one real rule. Harper's nudging now for somebody else for attention. We only have one real rule. So the dogs kind of go through life probing, waiting to be corrected or rewarded. That's how they learn. So it's actually called operant conditioning. So a dog does something and something happens afterwards. So if the dog goes on someone's property, an old man comes out and yells at him, then the dog's like, well, I shouldn't go on that property. So in this case, Harper can tell a human what to do and the human does it. That kind of sets a dangerous precedent. Now, I'm not saying it's dangerous is maybe not the best word, but dogs basically are going to go through life trying to get away with everything they can. That's how they find out where boundaries are. It's not like for us, like when maybe one of your kids pushes the boundary, staying up a little bit later, playing the video game a little bit longer, watching TV a little bit longer. That's different. In this case, I mean, dogs, that's how they figure out what is and is not allowed, by probing until they get corrected enough with good timing. And I'm going to go over how we can do that. But I consider petting a dog our way of paying or compensating them. When I deal with people who are not adults, I usually say petting a dog is our way of saying thank you. So you don't say thank you before somebody does something for you, you say thank you after. So next time that Harper comes up and nudges one of you guys, what I'd like you to do is ask her to sit. Now I do it with a hand motion. I have my hand with this parallel to the ground, kind of a 90-degree bend like this. And I kind of go in an arc over the dog's head. There you go. Sit. So I asked her to sit with my hand motion, not with saying the word sit. Now, as soon as she sits, I start petting her, and I say the word sit. I don't say good sit. I don't say, oh, Harper, what a smart dog, you sat down and you're the smartest dog ever, because I haven't even said the command word, which is sit. So I want to say sit and nothing else within 3 seconds of her sitting. Now, she also has a bad habit. Let's see if I can show it here. Well, Harper, come here. Sit. Sit. Of putting her hand up there, her paw up there. That's a dominance move. It's trying to control the situation. So as soon as she does that, I need to stop petting her immediately. The consequences, as soon as you try to tell me what to do, what you're enjoying stops. So from now on, when she nudges at you, she's giving you an order, pet me, pay attention to me. We're going to give her a counter order and ask her to sit. Sit. Now, as soon as the paw comes up, then I pull it away. If you do that consistently, eventually the paw will stop coming up. So at first we do it, we give her a counter order and tell her to sit, and then as soon as she sits, we start petting her. Now if she sits for a second and gets up, we stop petting her because she's no longer in a sit. Now after a while, what's going to happen is she's going to come up and sit in front of you like this and say, look, I'm sitting, shouldn't you be paying attention to me? And the answer is, at least some of the time, yes. Because now she's changing and she's doing what we want her to do. These are what I call engaging in desired behaviors, sitting, lying down, or coming to us. Now, if she's nudging us, she's already going to be here. Sitting and lying down are more subordinate positions. So by simply asking her to sit first, she's putting her in a more respectful body mechanic, number one. Number two, it's kind of introducing the concept, if you want something from me, you have to do something for me. Asking her to sit or lie down is not asking her a lot, is it? So there we go, down. Or I call this position crash. But whatever the command word is. Does she have a command for this? Okay, we'll talk about that. I would suggest crash because it's fun. I say crash, my dog flops down on the ground. People like you are smile and laugh, and dogs can actually read a human facial expression, so she feels good about herself for doing something I want her to do anyways. So if you, I call this petting with a purpose. If everyone starts doing this, what'll happen after a while, she's just gonna come and start sitting in front of you, looking up. We wanna make sure we do go and pet her and just say sit. Now I'm not saying that you can't talk to your dog, because some people are like, well, you don't wanna talk to dogs at all. You can talk to dogs, but if I ask her to, like, crash is the word, she lays down, I pet her and say crash. I can say, can you believe that person cut me off? And it's Memorial Day weekend. People are driving like they're Stevie Wonder out there. They're just crazy. So if you have a bad day and you want to vent to your dog, venting to your dog is fine. Sit. Sit. What you should find is she should start sitting faster and faster. Now after a while, when she just comes and sits in front of you, you didn't ask her, if we can try to do it in that 3-second window, we reach over and we pet her and say sit. And then we go back to whatever we're doing. After a while, the pawing at you will stop, the nudging will stop, and instead she'll sit in front of you and say, pay attention to me. So petting with a purpose is probably the easiest thing you can do that will have the biggest impact on your dog. If you guys all make an effort to do this for the next week or two, so mom is already petting the dog for no reason. So what it is we want to stop petting the dog at all. Just simply ask the dog to sit. And it's really hard to not do that because we're just used to doing that. I'm going to show you how to fix that too. Harper is kind of forcing herself in mom's way, and we're going to cover that in a separate video. What I would last note on this, what I would do is to come up with a watch command. I usually suggest the word paycheck. So if somebody comes in the room and says paycheck, you immediately stop petting the dog and you ask the dog to sit. Even if you had to ask the dog to sit before that person came in the room, because we want the dog to think all the humans are on the same page. And asking her to sit again isn't that hard, and it helps reinforce it. So it's going to take a little bit of time. So now you can pet her and say crash.
Oh, crash.
There you go. It's going to take a little bit of time for you guys to get in a habit of doing it, about a week or so. Once you do, though, every time you pet your dog this way, you'll be doing a little bit of a leader-follower dynamic exercise that will help with your dog's obedience and respect for you, and you'll do it without even thinking about it. Petting with a purpose, like I said, it's the easiest thing you can do that's going to have the biggest impact on your dog. So make sure that you don't pet your dog for no reason, at least in the short term, and make her earn it first.